I'm now washing my Purslane Verdolagas. So these have been soaking, got all of the nasty stuff out of there, and I'm about to process. Alright, now I have to take off all the little plants. So you want to pull on this and get all of the little plants off of there. You don't want the big stems because they're tough, they're harder to eat, right? So the little stems on here, that's okay, but not the big ones. So again, I'm just pulling. See how most of that comes off automatically? Some of the stems are going to go in there. The small ones, as you see, as they're breaking away, you can tell those are the tender ones, and those are okay to eat. I mean, the bigger ones are okay to eat too. They're just going to be a lot more thick. You know, you don't want that. Pull as you go. You can see that whole piece just came right off. That's fine. Okay, I don't know if you can see this very well. Turn this a little bit so you can see better. Just a little bit more on my method of cleaning here. I'm going to have some water running ever so slightly. So you clean, and what I'm doing is I hit them like that. Any excess dirt or other plant material that's in there, piece of grass, whatever, is going to come right out. Then I start from the top, and I'm pulling right from the top, right into my bowl. Go down the plant like this. Again, start from the top and pull. Using my nail tip to grab those little, you know, some are going to stay on there, but again, go to the top, pull, pull, pull. They come right off. And there's your clean stem. Again, grab another stem, put it under the water. And these have been submerged, so a lot of the silt, you can see at the bottom there, the dirt and stuff that came off, right? So that's what you want. You want this to be floating in water so all that stuff can come right off. And you want to smack it on something. You can see anything else that needs to come off of there. Pieces of grass, things like that you do not want to eat. Then start from the top and work your way down the stem. This. Clean stem. You might find some plants that have damage on them like this. Better not to use those at all. So, you know, if you find a stem that's clean, you can use that part. Oops, sorry. You can use that part that's clean, but leave the bad parts on there. Just toss them. Any stem that is thicker than this, you won't be able to eat. It'll be too woody, be too thick. This snaps right in half. So, you know, the tops, they're okay. So what you want to do is you want to grab one of your plants and grab one of these things and go from the top to the bottom. It'll get the top off, you know. Just go in the opposite direction, pull the top off, and the whole stem will come clean. So again, you grab from the top, pull down, your stem is clean, pull the top off. Try again. I'm pulling these off here. See them? Grab from the top, pull that off, pull it down, and your stem comes clean. So again, this one's so small. But again, so we have this long stem here. You can pull down. See how it just comes right off? Same thing with this. Pull off the top, stem comes right off. If you pull in the opposite direction, the stem comes right off, the plants come right off. Everything is off of there. And all you have is the little leaves left. I'm going to get the pressure cooker ready to pressure cook our pork. We'll need 1 bay leaf, or 1.5, whatever. Toss that in there. Half of an onion. Half a lime. And now we're going to put in our pork ribs, nice and marbled, and give it some fat. It's going to be delicious. I got 1.5 pounds here. Now we set the temperature on high, and we're going to pressure cook this for
2 hours.
2 hours. You sure about that?
Yep.
Okay. There we go. Now we're cooking with steam. Make sure you're monitoring your temperature. So here we have our cleaned verdolagas. The only stems that we have are very, very tiny, thin stems. Everything else is just the leaves. And this is a pretty small bowl, the size of my hand. Oh, there's a little bit more. Thank you, Duke. Beautiful job. So, it's supposed to be 1 pound of meat, pork loin or rib. I like to do mostly, I'm doing all rib because it's got more fat in it and it tastes great and I like the fat. This is almost, I don't want to say it's almost 1.5 pounds of verdolagas maybe. And we're ready to cook those, so we'll start that in a second. Okay, now this is 1 pound of tomatillos. They're not tomatoes, they are tomatillos. Okay, they look like this. They've got a weird little skin on top that you peel off. And I'm going to show you how you clean these. They're a little sticky to the touch. So we're just going to rip off these little husks. That'll go in my compost. Just do that to all of your tomatoes. Like this. Just peel it open. Twist. And it comes right off. Again, peel it open. Twist. Comes right off. Now we're going to wash these tomatoes. Tomatillos, excuse me. They're not tomatoes. Don't call them tomatoes because that's not what they are. They have like this sticky substance on them. And you want to get that off. You'll feel what I'm talking about when you're washing them. There. Now to clean. Now I'm going to quickly boil these. You don't want to leave them in there too long. So, drop them. And I had the water boiling already. If these get cooked for too long, they turn to mush. So what you want to do, and they also turn bitter. They turn bitter. So what you want to do is drop them in hot boiling water, and I'll show you when they're ready to come out. Okay, now while my tomatoes are cooking, I'm going to get my cilantro ready. So I'm going to take this off and wash it. Uh-oh. Got the wrong thing in here. And then I'm just going to take the top right off. I just want this part. This I'll freeze to make some soup later. Okay, my tomatoes are ready. You see they changed color. So I'm going to go ahead and stick them into the blender. Just transfer them directly into the blender here. Careful, it's hot. You can see the skin peeled right off of that one. All in. Now in this hot water I have here, I'm going to go ahead and put my purslane. Let's get that started. Need to cook all this stuff up. Just needs to cook in some water. Tomatillos water is fine. There we go. Already hot. So now to my hot tomatillo situation over here, I'm going to add my cilantro. And I'm going to add some peppers that I have already processed. Now, I've talked about this in other videos I've done. This is jalapenos. You're supposed to use 6 serranos. I have a mixture of jalapenos and serranos in this bag. As you can see, I have a whole bunch of them. And you're supposed to have 6 fresh serranos that you... I'm now washing my purslane. I'm going to take all these peppers and take their stems off of them. In the blender. And these peppers have been grilled prior to freezing them to preserve their heat and their flavor. I mean, if you're not into heat, you might not want to put all of these delicious peppers in, but I love heat, so that's what it's going to be. I'm going to add some salt to taste. So this is blended now. See the salsa in there? It smells great. It's 4 cups. You see the measure here, or maybe you can't. But this is 4 cups. All right, 4 cups of salsa ready to go. Okay, I'm going to check in here on these verdolagas. Purslane, called verdolagas in Spanish. You can see it's already cooking away. reducing quite substantially. Okay. These cook pretty quickly. This is a succulent plant. Almost done. Okay, these are done. So they've been cooking for about 25 minutes. And these are hot, so when you eat one of these, their integrity should still be complete. And they should be chewy, and but they have some mouthfeel to it, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and drain and harvest my purslane. And now we're going to cook our salsa. It's a little bit of the oil infused with chiles. I fried dry peppers to make my salsa in there. My dry ajonjolí sesame seed salsa. Can I get a spatula, please? Leave that there. Don't wash it. I'm gonna clean it out with some chicken broth I have to make here in a minute. So we're going to get this cooking while we wait for our pork to finish. Letting off pressure. Woo! You don't want to stick your hand anywhere near that little hole. It's time to get our meat. Whoa. There's our beautiful pork ribs. They're falling off the bone. All right, it's time to assemble our final assembly. I've got a pot here going, and it is already hot. I'm going to take some of that oil that I cooked those peppers in. Hardly any, just a little tiny bit. Just to coat the bottom. I'm going to take out this bay leaf. We don't need that anymore. Piece of onion. Actually, this works better. Oh, this thing is so soft. Our ribs are going in. Now I'm going to put in our verdolagas. Cooked to perfection. And now I'm going to add our salsa. That's been cooking, simmering this entire time. All of the goodness out of there. And finally, I'm going to take some of this beautiful stock from the ribs. I'm not going to use chicken stock because I have pork stock. But if you don't pressure cook your meat the way that I did, and you need some stock, you can certainly do what I am doing right now, so that you're now we're just going to let that all cook together for about 15 minutes and it'll be ready to serve. And that is it. There she is, costillas con verdolagas. It's delicious. Eat it with some fresh tortillas and you are good to go. Enjoy.